Amy. Thanks so much for stopping by. Tonight I'm going to show you how I transformed the latest pattern that I painted on black cardstock. I transferred that type of a pattern onto a wine glass. This is a 10.5 ounce wine glass, multi-purpose wine, meaning that it's good for either red or white. What a great glass this would be to have on hand when guests stop by. Makes a perfect gift too for any occasion. You know, somebody that loves to drink wine, why not gift them a wine glass? Anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started. I am using a number 2 round brush, a number 10 flat brush, and a stylus. The paints that I will be using are Thicket, Yellow Light, Evergreen, Yellow Citron, which I just got on my finger, Wicker White, and all of those are actually the Folk Art enamels, and this one is Perfect Purple. Sorry about that. The Perfect Purple is the only one that's actually a multi-purpose paint. The other ones, like I said, are the enamels. I started to do this video and I forgot a step. I have gone ahead on this glass and used a Scruffy brush, a large Scruffy brush, to put the Thicket on here to give it a nice base. But I went ahead and I had started to paint the flowers, forgetting to put the grass, which probably really wouldn't have made a big difference. Just for the fact that I cover most of it up. But I thought, you know what, I want them to be similar, or at least close, so I went ahead and started over. So basically what I'm doing is just trying to do more like a grassy kind of a pattern underneath. I am using all 3 greens, and that would be the Thicket, the Yellow Citron, and just kind of randomly doing the round brush and just going over the glass with it. You know, you can put 2 of the colors together if you want, because obviously the Thicket isn't showing up unless I do. But by the time it's all said and done and you've painted over all this, you know, it's fine. Now with the round brush, you'll find that you can, you know, make different style of grass blades. Some are thicker than others, some are thinner, longer, shorter, you know, just a variety. Just kind of going over the whole glass. Again, some of this may peek through since I'm painting stuff on top or over top of it. It may actually show through a little bit, possibly, but a good percentage of it is covered up. Once again, it just kind of gives a base, a good base to paint over. And I'm just going to keep doing this. Until I've got it pretty full. And again, random patterns, up and down. I will eventually be curving them, trying to get some around the bottom here. And this is what actually is kind of a fun, maybe a fun way to practice. Since it really doesn't matter if you make a mistake or not. Alright, just keep going. Let me know if you have any questions. Please feel free to comment below. I will do my best to answer those. If you like this pattern, please give me a big thumbs up. Share if you would. I'd love to, work on getting my channel out there. So I'd appreciate it if you know anybody who might like my channel, give them the opportunity to view it too. Now, I'll be honest with you on this. I've got a scat of painted glassware that I'm going to have to get rid of here. My basement is filling up, and I'm trying to sell them online through my Etsy shop. So if you have any interest in the painted glassware, please stop over there and check it out. We'll eventually be putting it on my own site too, but right now this is what I'm doing. Now, I do recommend with this either using an hair dryer or some type of a drying tool to get this to be somewhat dry before you start painting over it. Just for the mere fact that you can definitely bleed into your flower petals and such if you don't. If you're okay with that, then don't do it. But I do have a heat gun, and I will be making sure that this is fairly dry. Like I said, you just keep going until you feel like you're happy with the way it looks, and then make that decision to say, hey, I'm finished. I have cleaned my glass, just so that you know. I clean it before I do videos so that we don't have a lot of, dust, dirt, fingerprints, oil, whatever from our skin, fingers, hands on the pet or on the glass. You want to give the paint the best opportunity to adhere so that it lasts for a long time. This paint is dishwasher safe if you place it on the top rack. Definitely do not place it on the bottom rack. You will very possibly open your dishwasher and have very little, if any, paint left on your glassware. Just an FYI, please. Alright, I think at this point I am going to call it finished. I mean, as far as this part goes. Definitely not totally finished. Alright, hope you can see it. Looks kind of dark in my monitor, so I'm hoping that it shows up better than what I'm seeing. So I'm going to go ahead and give it some drying time, and then I will continue on with the flower paint. Alright, so now I have gone ahead and put the my hot air gun, or heat gun I guess it is, on this to try to dry it some. Now some spots will be a little bit thicker and probably will not have been dried by what I've attempted to do, but that's alright. I guess I still don't mind it having a little bit of bleeding if that happens. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is double load my brush with the Wicker White and the Perfect Purple and start off doing my flowers. Now basically it's kind of like you're scratching something, kind of going back and forth. I don't have to do it quickly, but I am trying to keep my brush as straight as possible and going back. Now as far as how many times I go back and forth, that kind of varies. You can count it if you want, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a little bit of a smaller petal than the first one. And then you go back and you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you want, that's fine. Now this is purple. I'm looking at my monitor and it's kind of coming off looking blue. I don't know why that is with when you're videoing purple. Why it has a tendency to look blue. Does anybody know? If you do, put it in the comments down below. I'd love to know. When you do this stroke though, I am trying to keep my brush as perpendicular as possible. Go back over this again, like it's not wide enough. And your petals don't have to be, like the rims of them, don't have to be perfectly in line. If you know what I'm saying. Like this one, it's kind of jigga-jawed. Okay, here we go. I'm just kind of going around it here again. Now, if you feel the need to go back over them, you can. I'm just going to leave it at this. And I'm not worried about the center because I'm dotting in the center, so that's fine. And with this design, I am using basically 5 flowers that I'm painting on here. 2 clusters of 2. So I have to try to keep them, since this glass is not really very big, I have to try to keep them smaller if I can. Because when I made the oops and started painting it before and doing the video, I kind of ran out of some room. So I'm trying to focus on keeping them a little bit smaller. And as far as the set of flowers that you're doing, you know, if you want to do more, less, that's up to you. I like to work in odd numbers. I think that's a general, kind of a general rule for design. But, you know, that's me. It doesn't have to be what you do. Alright, so I'm going to start down here. I'm going to overlap the other flower. And just keep moving and turning the glass. It's one thing fun about painting on glass is the fact that you can just keep moving it and turning it to make it easier for you, as opposed to painting on the wall, which I do love to paint on walls, but decorative paint. I don't like to do regular wall painting. Not my thing. Alright, let's see. I need one more petal, don't I? I don't know if I buried it or... Alright, so I'm going to go over this a little bit. There you go. And it's over the top of that one. Alright, then I'm going to make one more cluster. And I'll probably start over here. Just do it up a little bit higher. Like I said, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you try this pattern, I'd love to see your work. It's just kind of fun to see what other people do, or what their take is on what you've demonstrated. You know, if you're new and you have questions, feel free to ask me. I get questions all the time. No question is stupid, but don't feel like that. If you got a question, ask it. Please ask it. Okay, again, I'm going over the other flower. I'm just starting here, and like I said, I'm trying very hard to keep my brush straight up and down, or at least close to that. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it's a little bit harder to paint this direction. And also, and I try to mention this every time I do a video, I am left-handed, so the way I start a flower might be the opposite of how you would start it if you're not left-handed. And even if you are left-handed, you know, I don't actually write the same way. Like my brother's left-handed, and he does the funny thing with the hand where his hand is turned and all that good stuff. I don't write like that. So I know that, you know, I do some things like a right-handed person, and then I do some things that are definitely lefty. Alright, so I got those done. Now you can wait, or you can go ahead and do this now. Take your stylus. I always want to forget what this is called. Take your stylus, and I'm just randomly putting dots in the center, or towards the center. as many or as little as you want. You can have them come down into the flower. I like this stylus as far as doing dots with. You can make bigger dots, smaller, variety of sizes, so that's good. And this is where I meant when I didn't have the center completely closed. It didn't matter because I was going to go over it with the dotting tool anyways. So you don't see it now. But I love adding the little dots, even though I'm better at it with the stylus, but I'm not typically a really good dotter. Does that make sense? Oops. I think I kind of scooted off the screen there. Sorry about that. If you want to throw another color into the center too, you can. I'm just going to stick with the yellow. I think it pops enough by itself since it's a contrast that I'm leaving it like that. Alright, so there we are. Got that done. One word of advice is make sure you clean off your stylus. I have a tendency to forget that I've used it. When I go back to use it, it's covered with paint. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is start putting in my leaves. For the purpose of this video, I am using the Thicket and the yellow Citron, which to me is a green. I mean, it's probably a yellowish green, but just a bright green, brilliant green to me, to my eyes. And I'm going to go around and do, the common, I don't know, I call it a wiggle leaf. I mean, you can do whatever style of leaf you want to. That's fine. I am using the yellow Citron, and I'm just doing like the basic wiggle leaf. Now, as I've mentioned before in some of my other videos, with this type of a leaf, you can actually see how the light on the outside, you can actually go back over, do your next side, and leave the light in the center. I actually need to fix that. It's kind of hard when your base color is so close to, well, it's actually the same, to your other color, just to see it. And then I'm going to go down the center of it, put a little vining in. I can go back over it too if I want it to put in the Citron there so you can see it better. And you can rotate this if you want to do. I just think the yellow Citron though just kind of almost makes it seem like it's, I don't even know how to explain it, that it just makes it pop for some reason. Very brilliant looking. Definitely stands out. Now on this, I am going over one of the petals of the flower, which is fine. I'm going to go back over it here a little bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing, just pull a little line down the center. If I want to give it some highlighting, go ahead and do it with the Citron too. See how pretty that is? Now you can also stick to the regular dark on the outside, which, like I said, on this setup, it's a little bit more difficult to see because the base is basically that color. And the fact that I put some grass in there. Whoops, I'm sorry, I'm off the screen. Sorry about that. Sorry. I need to redo this. Clean it up a little bit. Go back down the center. can go back down the center with the Citron if I want. I don't like the way that looks, so I'm going to do this side again. Like I said, it's okay if it kind of mingles in there. It's fine. Now you can also, do it the reverse direction as far as the colors and have, but I kind of like, for the purpose of this design, I like having the Citron on the outside because it shows up better. This one I'm going to, and I put it on both sides, sorry about that, I am going to do the Citron on both sides, and then pull it down. See, it just stands out, just so pretty. So pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, so let's do this one over here. Not quite as brilliant, but I can go back over it. The only thing you have to worry about when you go back over paint is not to do so much that it lifts, because that can happen, is that the paint lifts up and then it kind of ruins your design. Should that happen, I recommend just kind of cooling it, letting it dry, and go back at it lightly after that, so that you're not continuing to pull up the paint. Now you can go the other direction, add some more leaves. I am going to put in some, just basically some little one-stroke leaves. And so you can still, right as of this moment, still see some of my grass that I did underneath for the moment. Not sure how long you'll be able to do that. And I'm just putting some real easy little basic leaves right here. I think I'll do that just to give them, to kind of fill it in some. Do it down here. I'd love to hear what you think, though. I really think these glasses are very pretty. And you can just do a single one like that. Like I said, I'm not trying to overpower it too much. There's a lot going on this glass. But you can come back over, the other leaf if you want. Even do a little one right here. You just have to eyeball it. Go around and say, hey, this is where I need to add something. It looks kind of bare, and add it. Just trying to think where else I could add. Now, like I said, if you get into painting these to sell, some of the patterns you'll get into doing so many times that you'll just automatically know where to put them because you've done it so many times. And I did forget, of course, that there's another brush I'm going to be using tonight to do the stem, and it's the 3/8 Glass Art by Dynasty brush. It's a number 71, and that's going to be used to create this awesome base that I'm going to do. And I love these brushes for their coverage, so I'm going to go ahead and start here, just going around the base of the ball of the glass, and I'll just keep turning it. And then you just do that. You just keep turning it. Making pretty glasses. Keep turning it. No perfection in this. Easy peasy. Just keep painting. There's no right or wrong. Just do it. Isn't that like a Nike theme? Just do it. Well, that's what I'm telling you on here, is just do it. If you're happy with it, more power to you. And that's what matters, right? At least I think that's what matters. You have a nice, cute stem, little funkiness, little elegance, all balled up into one. Alright. And then I just keep doing this. Keep doing it, keep doing it. I think I turned it though somehow. So I have the green on the bottom. I don't know. Who knows? I'll turn it around here in a second. So it looks like the other one. What I did was, I don't know how I did this. Who knows? I'll tell you one thing. I can't figure my brain out sometimes. So now I came out a little bit further on the glass. Ended up with green, so I'm not really sure how I did that when I started with green at the top. So this bottom part you can do however you want to do, because I'm not sure exactly how I ended up this way. Like I said, I have a tendency to turn my brush, so I might have done that. And that's okay. You know, it really doesn't matter. Just make it look nice. That's the main thing, right? Alright, I'm going to stop with that. Then what I'm going to do is take my stylus, pick it back up, and then do a little bit of tedious work of just doing dots around all this painting up here. And they're just going to be small. Now that's got some white in it. Just small dots. Not too big of a statement here with these, but I think it kind of makes a nice look though, just to finish off the top. I mean, you can leave it bare if you want. If you're not a dot person, then just leave it bare. Or you could do a line around the top if you wished. But see, that just makes it a little bit more fun. Put a dot on my leaf. It's okay. I hope you're enjoying this. I love it. I have been away from really creating, and I really feel a need to do that. And it's kind of bothers me, and hopefully if you're a creative you understand what I'm saying. When you get away from it a little bit, the work I've been doing is just pretty much like manufacture work. It's not using my creative side. This does, so I'm happier. Fresh brush, fresh breath of air. I say if you've painted any glassware for the holidays, I'd love to see samples. Please feel free to show pictures in the bottom. Now I'm going to go to the base and continue on adding my little dots down here. Once again, they're just random. They're not anything specific size. And I know I've got jumping up into the camera there. I'm sorry. Now I can't show you doing it that way either. Alright, here we go. Almost finished. I try to do these as quickly as I can. As I've told you before, if you've seen any of my other videos, I don't like long videos, and try to make them as short as possible. Some of my older ones may be longer, so if you're viewing a longer one of mine, look at the date. I mean, sometimes with the designs you really can't help it. I just don't want to make them, you know, too long, too many parts. Times I do things just to give you a gist. I'm doing the dots, I'm sure. It's pretty self-explanatory, not really that hard to follow. But anyhow, here you go. Here's the one for today. And I think, once again, it's a beautiful glass. I really do like how it turned out. Now, stay tuned for me to be selling these. I mean, I do sell them on my Etsy shop, but I don't think I have all of them listed. I have most of them, and I need to concentrate on putting the links in all of my videos, but feel free to check them out. Great gift. They're on sale right now for 20% off. The only thing is, folks, I only ship within the United States. Don't ship outside of the United States. I'm sorry, but with glassware, for some reason it gets broken, it's costly to replace, and it's less costly if I'm shipping within the United States. So anyways, there you go. Hope you liked my video. Please make sure that you subscribe, give me a big thumbs up, and share and make a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And until the next video, have a good holiday.